days later, and I've done some knitting. I actually just filmed the intro for the game that we are going to play in this video, which is called Roll for Holiday Spirit. So we are having our actual Thanksgiving today, even though it is the Sunday after Thanksgiving. So I need to make the thing that we are taking with us to dinner. I also need to pull some yarn out for a holiday gift because I ended up changing my mind about what I'm making, so I need to pick a different color. But if you want the instructions for Roll for Holiday Spirit, I made a separate quick video. It's like 2 minutes long, if even that, that I will post a link to. But basically all you do is make a list of your favorite holiday films or films that you want to see, roll a die, and then you watch the film while doing something that gives you holiday cheer. So I have my list right here. I made a list of 36 films. You can do 12 if you want. You just want to make sure it's divisible by 6 because we're using a 6-sided die. I mean, you could do 20 and do a d20, but I have issues with d20s. I don't trust them after playing D&D because I rolled more crit fails than anyone else I know, and that was with 4 different dies. So we're just going to do the old standard of the 6-sided die. So go. I got number 1. So that means we are starting with a movie called Merry Swissmas, which is free on Tubi. I actually just found this movie last night accidentally while looking for something else. I have no idea what it's about other than being a holiday movie, but it stars Jodie Sweetin and Tim Rosen, both of which I really like. So it should be a good movie. I've never seen them do anything together. But I think it should be really funny. So I am going to queue that up. It is on Tubi, so it is free to watch here in the US. And let's go make a pickle tree. was joking when I said pickle tree, didn't you? Hello, it is later. The pickle tree was very cute. It went over well. We now have a lot of pickles left over. I'm exhausted. I have done so much more socializing and being out and about in the last 4 days than I'm used to. And just with it getting dark so early, it feels like it is 9:30 right now, and it is only 6:30. So I'm so tired. I just want to be cozy and get cuddled up in my heated blanket. And if I fall asleep, then I fall asleep. I'd watched my first Christmas movie this morning while I was making the pickle tree. I watched Merry Swissmas, and it was okay. It was a Lifetime holiday movie. And the thing that I didn't like about it was that I did not believe the backstory of these characters for a second. Like, you cannot tell me that a guy who has managed major hotels, big major hotel chains, doesn't know how to run an opening for a small inn. So it just felt like very contrived situations. And the family of the main character, the woman, they kept like thrusting her into these situations without telling her that certain people or certain events were going to happen in advance, and then couldn't understand why she felt like she was being ambushed or manipulated. And that really bugs me in movies when I see that kind of family dynamic happening. And maybe I'm just hypersensitive to it, but I didn't care for that. So I probably won't watch that one again. I'd only give it like 2 stars out of 5. But let's roll the die again and see what our next film is going to be. Okay, we got number 4, and that is The Hogfather. So this one is a staple holiday movie for me. I'm going to go ahead and put that on. I think I have it on DVD, but I'm lazy, so I'm just going to stream it. And I will check in with you later. Oh, the other thing that happened tonight. So I've been making this sweater for my father-in-law, right? Y'all have seen this. You're probably as sick of it as I am. I've been working on this sweater for 2 years. It was supposed to be his gift last year, but then I got really sick and my ESA died, and just the last half of the year collapsed on me, and I didn't have the spoons to finish it. I'm 3/4 of the way into this sweater. I have a sleeve and a half plus the collar to do, and that's it. And today he's like, I didn't notice it until you mentioned that you have a wool allergy. I think I've got one too. Y'all, this is Cascade 220. It's not even the superwash because I accidentally ordered the wrong yarn. So I'm 3/4 of the way in. It's too late to turn back. Apparently he does still wear wool sweaters, and I think this one has gotten softer as I've worked with it. So hopefully once it gets a good wash and everything, it'll be nice and soft. But yeah, he said that he was talking to my wife about her wool allergy, and the whole time I'm just staring at her like, great, fantastic, now what do I do? So I'm gonna go put on a movie and try and put in a few more rows on a sweater that he may or may not be able to wear, and try not to fall asleep too early. I'll see you tomorrow. Sir, I need that back. You have my project. Yes, you do. Can I have it back? Can I have it back? Please? That's a no, isn't it? Yeah, can I have it back? Please? Pretty please? Thank you. Promise you can have tons of pets. Tons of pets. Good morning. It is a few days later. It is Friday. If this outfit looks familiar, it's because I'm trying to film updates for 2 different videos at the same time before our landscapers get too close to my window. So this is what we're working with. So it's been a couple of days. I did watch a couple of additional movies. So the other day I rolled a 3, which was Little Women, which is one of my favorite Christmas movies that isn't really a Christmas movie. Specifically the 1949 version, which has Elizabeth Taylor as Amy. She's not the reason I watch it, but that's the most popular name, I think. Like, she usually is listed at the top on the DVD case because everybody knows Elizabeth Taylor. But that one is my favorite version of Little Women. I had to hunt high and low to find it on DVD. But I could not find the DVD when I was going to watch it. So I went back to my bonus round list, and I pulled a title from there, and I watched Beauty and the Beast, the animated version, which Beauty and the Beast for me is a Christmas movie. I will not be taking questions. That's just the way it is. It's a Christmas movie, okay? It's a year-round Christmas movie, but it's still a Christmas movie. So I watched Beauty and the Beast, and then I went to my wife, who recently reorganized her DVDs, and asked her where Little Women was, and she found it for me. So I watched that the next night. And then last night I rolled, and the title that came up was The Christmas Caper, which is on Tubi, and it stars Shannon Doherty. And it was quite cute. It's about this jewel thief whose partner flips on her, so she's laying low at her sister's place babysitting her demon children while her sister is stranded out of the country. And the thing that sold me on this film, like, I do like Shannon Doherty. I'm an OG Charmed fan, so I'm a big fan of her. But when the parents are in the airport and they're calling everybody that they know, trying to find somebody who can take care of their kids for an extra couple of days because the babysitter has to leave, some of the stories that they're telling about the kids are just hilarious. And the one that really stuck out to me is that the dad is like, okay, yes, I know that he sold your dog on eBay, but to be fair, he got a really good price. Don't sell somebody else's dog on eBay. Don't sell dogs on eBay, period. But I just thought that was so funny. And the kids in this movie were really great. And I loved the dynamic between the kids and Kate, which was Shannon's character. So it was a really fun watch. I would watch it again. I don't know if it's going to go into my standard Christmas rotation, but it was very good. So today is a work from home day. I'm going to be rolling a little bit later for something to watch while I work. But right now I have Zoom meetings to get into, so I will be doing that today, and I will check in with you later. Good morning. You will have to pardon any morning voice happening. My sinuses have been really bothering me this week, and I've got a bit of a sore throat going on right now. But I did want to check in. So I've watched 2 more things. The first one was The Christmas Caper, which stars Shannon Doherty. I think I might have mentioned this one on here, but it was really funny. And then I also watched, excuse me, I'm being invaded by the Morrigan. Man, you're kind of in the way. She cares not. Okay. I also watched Seven Women and a Murderer on Netflix, which I didn't realize was Italian, but it was still really good. It was one of the most Italian things I've ever seen. I loved the costuming in that movie. It was really great, sort of like 1930s era. Great twists at the end. Very like Agatha Christie feeling. Or it also reminded me of something else, but I'm blanking on it now. But it definitely had that feel of like an Agatha Christie type of thing. And it's about these 7 women who get stranded in one of their homes with a dead body, a very wealthy family. And so they're trying to figure out who killed the deceased. And every time they hear a noise, they think that someone is in the house with them. And they keep grabbing this same, like, one-of-a-kind Ming figurine to defend themselves. So, like, every time they go to a new room, they're like, get the Ming, get the Ming. It was really funny. Really enjoyed that one. And then it didn't have a whole lot of Christmas vibes, but it does take place on Christmas Eve. So if you're not into like super Christmassy, heartwarming type of movies, but you still want the holiday vibes, that might be a good one. And then last night I watched Mrs. Santa Claus, which I watched for the first time last year, and I really love it. It's an Angela Lansbury movie from the 80s. It's a musical. I believe it has Tim Curry in it, or at least somebody who looks a lot like him and sounds a lot like him. But I'm also face blind, so it doesn't always look like Tim Curry to me. So I haven't looked up the cast for it, so take that for what you will. But she plays Mrs. Santa Claus, and she gets stranded in New York City in like 1906-ish, and ends up joining a suffragette movement and starting a labor strike. And it was really good. And I think it's a really great film to watch, especially right now with everything going on in the US. Really good film. I love Angela Lansbury. So I'm going to roll again for another movie this morning. I have temporarily set aside the sweater because I'm so sick of working on it. And I know we're into that final push, but I just can't stand looking at it right now. So I'm working on something for a coworker, which this is a triangle scarf. I brought it home. I thought it was done. I steam blocked it last night. And even with steam blocking, it was not stretching out as much as I need it to. It needs a couple more inches to be comfortable to wear as a scarf. So happily, I had run out of yarn on this initially, and I actually ran out of yarn with 10 stitches left in the bind off. So I had kind of fudged it with a similar color yarn, but I accidentally ended up with a second ball of the same yarn. So this is Knitpicks Mighty Stitch Worsted in the color... I know you have a color name. It's on the website. It is not showing me a color name, just that it is C26829. But I accidentally ended up with a second ball of that due to a shipping delivery error on the part of USPS. So I went ahead and took out that bind off, and as I was doing the bind off, I had dropped a stitch and didn't really fix it that well, just because I was on a section of this open work and it was harder for me to figure out what I needed to do to fix it. So I had kind of fudged it. It looked okay, but then when I was undoing it and trying to go back through, I made it worse, and I tried dropping down and that made it even worse. So I ended up ripping out this whole green section that I had done, like 6 or 8 rows, and now I'm redoing it. I am almost back to where I started. And then I'm going to add, probably another inch or 2 at least, just to try and give the scarf the extra length that it needs to wrap around, because she could wear it like bandana style with like a pin or something, or maybe with like the triangle side on one side and a little knot right here. But I wanted her to be able to like wrap it around her neck and not need something to pin it in place. So that is why I am adding the extra to it. And because I'm working on it at home now instead of at my desk at work, I'm going to have to wash it really well because she's allergic to cats. And my cats absolutely love this scarf. So I'm going to have to wash it and then steam block it again once it is done. So that is where we are on this project. I'm hoping that I can finish it today for good, and then get back to working on that sweater again. I think I might need to set it down and work on the blanket for a while because that sweater, I'm so sick of it. I'm almost done with the first sleeve. I need to get through the second sleeve and then do the collar and the zip. So it's almost done. It is so close to being done. I'm just so sick of working on it. So let's roll for today. I am starting to get a little bit of distrust in my die because it keeps rolling ones on me, which always seems to happen with when I use die. So I'm giving you one more chance. If you give me another 1, I'm using a random number generator. 5. Okay, that is A Castle for Christmas. That is actually one of my favorite Christmas movies because it is a knitting movie. So I'm going to pull that up on Netflix and get to work. Okay, good morning. Brief check-in before I go out and run errands. It is a couple days later and I've watched a couple more movies. I meant to watch the 1970 Scrooge musical, which was recommended by Real Vintage Doll's House. However, Peacock is not the most friendly to search when it's on the TV app, and I accidentally ended with the 2004 Christmas Carol musical, which was still really good. I did not realize I had made a mistake at first because it stars Kelsey Grammer, and I'm not like a huge Kelsey Grammer fan. Like, I've seen him and stuff, but he's not someone that I seek out. I am also face blind, so I don't always recognize actors if they change their appearance. I tend to recognize them primarily by voice. So the first actor I actually picked up on was Jason Alexander because he has a very distinctive voice. And then as I'm continuing to watch, I'm like, I don't know how old Jason Alexander is. Like, he's one of those actors who hasn't changed since the 80s, really. And then I was seeing other familiar faces. Like, I recognized the Ghost of Christmas Past, but I couldn't place her. I couldn't remember her name or where I'd seen her or anything. I'm like, okay, it's probably just like an actor that I've seen and stuff I watched with my parents. And then the Ghost of Christmas Present is played by the dad from the Flash TV show. I can't remember his first name. Detective West. It's the same actor. And I'm very proud of myself for recognizing him, because he's obviously younger in this than he was in the Flash. He's got a full beard, and he's kind of like queer coded in Christmas Carol. So I enjoy playing Spot the Actor and Name the Actor, just because for me, I've got kind of a disadvantage, so it always feels like a win when I get one right. But it was still really good. I did enjoy it, but now I have to put that film back on my list later on. So I'm gonna try again. I don't have time to watch a movie this morning because we are going to run errands in about 20 minutes. But I do have an update on the sweater. I finally finished the first sleeve. Finally. And I ended up accidentally taking a couple days off from this sweater because I kept sitting down to pick up stitches for the second sleeve, and then remembering that I needed to wind more yarn. So I wound another skein of yarn up last night. This is where I am on the second sleeve. So let me see. Okay, I've got that much more to go until I can start my decreases. So I made some pretty good progress on it last night while I was watching YouTube, and hoping to do some more on that today. Today I'm running some errands with my mom because we finally got a break in our rain. We've got like a multiple atmospheric river situation going on. So there is flooding in our general area, but it is not affecting us directly. We are safe and everything. We're actually, we're in the Kent area, and we're on what's called West Hill. So we're a higher elevation. But the Kent Valley below us is having some big problems, and also the Auburn Valley nearby. But that's where we are right now. I will try to maybe take a couple of clips while we are out shopping and doing our errands. And then I know tomorrow my mom's going to come over, and she's going to use our oven to bake cookies because her oven is really stupid. Her apartment is also in our complex, and her apartment is really stupid. They did not set it up very well. And I could do a whole TED talk about our landlord and our apartment complex right now, but I won't. So let's move on and do some like Christmassy stuff, because it is December 13th. Oh, I also, because I am now on holiday break, I brought home the desk knitting that I have. So this is what I've been working on at my desk for the last couple of days, and this is a mock cable hat for one of my faculty members. I'm currently making something for everybody who has an office in my building that I'm going to give to them when we return to the office on January 5th. So this is for one of my faculty members. This is in Knitpicks Comfy Worsted, which is a cotton blend. And I've also made one of these in green for another coworker. And then I have two triangular scarf shawl things that I made for two other coworkers. I still need to make another hat and a cowl when I'm done with this, and those will be my last two. The hat that I need to make is going to be a pumpkin head, which is one of my own patterns. I will link it down below. And then I'm also going to use one of my own patterns for the cowl, which is called Charlotte. Again, I will link that down below so you can find the patterns. They're both on Ravelry. And they are also in my Ko-Fi shop if you would like to order directly from me. And if you have trouble with Ravelry, that's fine. But let's go get stuff done. Good morning. It is a couple days later. I just woke up a little while ago. I'm working from home now for our winter break. Did my emails this morning. Went and made myself a mocha and got some Chex Mix for breakfast because it is Chex Mix season in our household. So this is what I call a broke mocha. I've made them frequently on this channel. And this is hot chocolate with a little scoop of instant coffee in it. It's 50% milk. Because I am cheap and not a huge fan of coffee, but I need the caffeine sometimes. And this is actually with the Target brand peppermint hot chocolate, which is my all-time favorite hot chocolate. It used to come in canisters and was available year-round. And then they made it just winter, and now it's just holidays, and they no longer do canisters. So when I find it, I buy it. My mom very kindly bought me this box of hot chocolate. But this is my favorite because when you mix it with the coffee and the milk, it tastes like a cake that she bakes. So, liquid cake for breakfast. So I have watched a couple more movies. I watched The Christmas Bookshop, which was on Pluto. That one was pretty cute. I don't think it's going to end up in the regular rotation, but it was cute to watch. And it's about this like super uptight author who befriends a small town bookshop owner, and they have this competition about whether it's better to have a spontaneous Christmas or an organized Christmas. But it was very cute. And then I also watched A Very Vintage Christmas on Netflix. This one has, I believe it's Tia Mowry in it. And that's another one that was cute, but probably won't make it into the rotation. But my biggest pet peeve with that particular one is just that for it being Netflix, I thought the production value was kind of low, and there were a few scenes where just the camera was shaking really bad, and I know I'm really one to talk right now. But for like a Netflix show, you would think that would be something that they would pay attention to and have a more stable camera system, which they did not, and that really bothered me. I'm very sensitive to things like that. As my camera shakes. When I do have really shaky camera, I do my best to fix it in post, but I don't have the best setup. I don't have a standard filming space. I'm normally just sitting on my bed. And right now I'm facing this direction, which means I don't have a table to set my camera on. I'm just kind of, it's balanced on the bed and I'm holding it to help stabilize it. but this is how my light is good right now. I have my sad lamp over here, which is essential right now. You saw my kitchen. I have been so exhausted the last 2 weeks because the atmospheric river flowing through means we are not getting any sunlight at all. So it's just been rain and it's making me so tired. I am taking my vitamin D and just like wrapping myself around my daylight lamp. I have made progress on the sleeve, not as much as I would like, but I have started the decreases on it. And I also finished a hat that I was making for a coworker, which I have already put into my bag of gifts. I will pull that out later to show you. And then I started on another hat for a coworker, but I'm only about that far into it. I'm making the pumpkin head, which is one of my patterns. I will link to it below and also put a picture in here. So you start by knitting the brim, which goes vertically all the way around, and then you pick up stitches around the top to make this slouchy sort of beret type of thing. And so I just started on the brim. I'm only about that far into it, so it's like 1.5 inches of garter stitch. It's not that interesting at the moment. But today is a work day. I need to check my email again, and then I need to clean up my workstation, which I meant to yesterday, but I was so exhausted. I had to do my car service, which took a couple of hours and was kind of a hassle because the place that I was supposed to go to is near where all the flooding is near us. So I called them a couple of times to see if they were open. I got the voicemail, and then they called me back 2 hours after the appointment to be like, oh yeah, we're open. Do you want to reschedule? I'm like, no, I went elsewhere to get it done because you couldn't answer your voicemails. So I did get that done, but I had to drive a lot further than I normally would. I had to take alternate routes because of the flooding. But I did get it taken care of. And then after that, we had to do our grocery shopping, which we started our grocery shopping at 5 o'clock at night when it was pitch black here. So it was just very, very exhausting. But I'm working on cleaning today since I'm going to have some time. I have one work task that needs to be completed between now and the end of winter break, which is in 3 weeks. So I'm going to be working on that, but it's one of those like very fiddly data entry type tasks. So I can only handle about 30 minutes of it in a sitting before I just want to take my eyes out with a DPN, because it's very, very repetitive. So I'm going to work on that. I'm going to be knitting in between. I will probably put on some YouTube or a Christmas movie in the background. But today is just day job and cleaning for the most part. So let's get to work. I've got my headphones, I've got my YouTube. Actually, I'm currently listening to music on YouTube. I have several artists that I follow, and I was getting caught up on their latest releases. So like Beth Crowley, Citizen Soldier, and then I've got 2 albums I want to listen to. One of them is by Mai Karaki, which is one of my favorite J-pop singers from the early 2000s. She's recently put out an album, so I want to listen to that on here. And then I'm also listening to the unreleased Mega Mix by Maggie Lindemann. So that is going to be my background while I am working and getting things cleaned up this morning. So I don't have enough space to really set up my tripod to do B-roll right now, so I will check back in later.